Hey, Chris Miles here, anti-financial advisor with Money Ripples. So excited to be able to share with you guys just for a few minutes about really an opportunity that helped me grow, not just personally, but it's also helped hundreds and hundreds of my clients save over $300 million of cash flow in the last 13 years now, going on 13 since we've tracked it. I've been very blessed and very fortunate to see that work in many people's lives one-on-one, as well as many people just like you. And so I want to talk about what this really is, what this academy is, and whether it's really a good fit for you. And yes, we are making an offer. We are offering it to you right now. And so that's why I want to really help you understand why this could be a great value for you, if it would be a great value for you. But for those of you that are here, most likely it probably is. Just to give you some background on me, I'm actually live in Utah most of the year. Although I do snowbird in the winter, I married a Venezuelan woman. She said, I can't do Utah winters. We got to get out of here. And so that's where we live most of the time. We have a blended family. We've been married now for several years, but we've got 8 kids between the two of us. I've got 6. She's got 2. Therefore, she definitely loves me a lot more. You can tell. Anyways, I've been very blessed. Most of our kids are teenagers now, which the older 6 are all teenagers and above. So, been very exciting time of our lives. Been very interesting. I've had lots of ups and downs. Like it shows here, I've been financially independent twice, which is kind of the purpose of why I'm talking about this today. Because now you might wonder, how was I financially independent twice? Well, easy. I screwed up the first time. I actually became financially independent when I was 28 years old, did it right, did all these things that we're going to talk about here today, and then some. But then, of course, when the recession hit, I kind of broke and violated my own rules, the very things that I know and teach today, especially that I teach you here at this Wealth Accelerator Academy. I violated those things, ended up losing. I went from millionaire to upside down millionaire. So I didn't go bankrupt, but man, it would have been easier if I did, because that reset button would have been much easier than trying to pay back all that debt that I do, and then also become financially independent, meaning that I had enough passive income coming in to pay for my monthly expenses. So that means I'm work optional. I work because I want to, not because I have to. And that's the big thing, is that, is that somewhere you want to be too? Do you want to be in a place where you have control of your money? You don't feel like you're having to pay bills each and every month. In fact, you not even have to worry about whether you have money to pay bills or not. You just know it's always there, even if your job stops, even if you quit or you get fired or laid off or whatever it might be, you know that you're always safe. And so that's where our focus really is on, we do, of course, talk about cash flow consulting and infinite banking, but really this Wealth Accelerator Academy is ultimately how you can do what I've learned, how to essentially not have to go $1 million in debt and not have to go broke to learn the very things that I did and learn it much more effectively. And so the question is this: if I could show you how you can create another minimum $300 a month of cash flow without a lot of time out of your schedule, without having to start a new business that claims you got to create passive income, but really they're just making you take another part-time job, and that's how you make your $300+ a month, and without having to get a lot of financial training. You have to be a financial genius or whiz to figure this out. If that's what you want to do, just like hundreds of my other clients have done, as well as myself over the last decade, that's what we're going to talk about today. And so here's the big kind of tips I'm going to give you today from this. I know I'm presenting about what the Wealth Accelerator Academy is, but I always want to give you some value too. And so it's really 3 pieces of advice I've been giving people, especially since 2020, is get lean, get liquid, and get out. So we're going to talk about that more today. And like I said, this has not just helped me in my life overcome major obstacles and then, of course, become financially independent, but it's helped hundreds of our clients free up on average it's actually close to 35,000. I'm just making this go less. And that's in the first year alone. For most people, that grows year after year after year. Therefore, especially if they do the program we talk about doing, right, where you actually start to reinvest that cash to create passive income from investments and things like that. Now, like I said, I overcame a huge debt hole. I was over $16,000 in the hole each month. I had to pay off. I actually paid off 900,000 of that $1 million plus in about 3.5 years. All of this that I'm teaching in this Wealth Accelerator Academy came from those experiences, from the things that I learned coming out of that. Now, granted, I teach the things I learned also becoming financially independent the first time, but I'll tell you, the biggest lessons in life came from me going broke. And I remember it was a hard 2 years. 2007 to 2009 was a rough period of time for me. I remember my wife at that time, she was threatening to take the kids and move out while she moved in with her sister, while I quote unquote figured my stuff out. I was even in a situation where, people were calling me, collectors were calling me day in and day out, multiple times a day. My friends stopped calling me, but those collectors never stopped hounding me. It was a horrible time. And of course, I was the guy that's supposed to have it all figured out, right? And it was during that time I remember just praying so hard, saying, man, if only this could benefit one person. If I can come out on the other side of this stronger for myself, but also help somebody else along the way, that would be worth it. Little did I know that literally thousands upon thousands of people have been benefited by this. And really, there's been other people out there teaching my stuff as well that have possibly got that into the hundreds of thousands, if not millions at this point. So my point is this, is that if anybody can do it, even if I could do it, you can do it too, right? I mean, and if hundreds of other people, thousands of other people have done this as well, it's not that difficult to be able to do. Usually for most people, it's just making excuses. And you might be thinking like, well, what if I don't have a lot of time? What if I'm working a lot? That's fine because this program works with your schedule. It's really done on your own timing. It's kind of like a done with you course, or not just a done, do it yourself, but it's kind of done with you. In fact, not only do we have that, but we even have ongoing calls. We actually have monthly calls where even I'm personally getting involved and helping answer questions and helping you guys progress along the way. Now, here's the key thing you got to understand. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about that at all. So many people think, oh, I don't have enough money. I don't have this. I don't have that. It's not about that. It's about cash flow. Cash flow is what truly creates freedom. I tell people this all the time with debt, for example. People say, oh, I'm buried in debt. Well, okay, fine. You're buried in debt. Well, how much? Well, I've got $200,000 student loans. Okay, great. How much does it cost you a month? $1,000 a month. Well, dang, that's awesome. Yeah, but I'm buried. No, you're buried under the idea of 200,000 a month, but it's the $1,000 a month, the payment that's really hurting you. It's just like a mortgage. If you have a mortgage payment, but say the mortgage payment, even if it's $1 million mortgage, was $1 a month, would you care? No. And imagine your life right now. What if your life looked like if all of a sudden you had an extra, even $1,000 a month coming in, extra 2,000 a month coming in? What if your expenses reduced by 3,000 a month? Would that help? Would that make your life better? And what if you could reduce your life by $3,000 a month? What if you could free up that much per month and still not change your lifestyle, not have to get rid of all those things, not have to live on rice and beans and all that kind of crap, right? Or get rid of that latte every single day. You could still enjoy your life, but do it responsibly with stewardship. What if you could do it that way? What if your life could look so much different just by making some few key moves? That's what we talk about here. Now, who's this not for? This is not going to be for those of you that really are just going to use this as shelf help. You're going to take the information, you're going to buy it, and then do nothing with it. Guys, that's just not worth it. Okay. I don't want you to do something and then do nothing with it. This is got to be something you're committed to actually making it change your life. You want not just for yourself, for your life to be better, but you want your family's life to be better. You want you to improve the situation that you're in. You want to do something different than the status quo. You don't want to be like every other American who's living literally paycheck to paycheck. Even those that aren't living paycheck to paycheck, I'm telling you, because those are our clients in our VIP programs. And I'm telling you, those guys, they still worry that they'll never be able to stop working. They'll have to work forever to afford their lifestyle. And they don't have to have a lavish lifestyle to afford it because most people, did you know that 401k millionaires, people have over $1 million in 401k. Do you know that most of them, 35% of them, just believe it's a miracle for them to be able to hit retirement, while most of them don't think they'll be able to get there anytime soon because they don't think $1 million is enough anymore due to inflation, right? We've got all these headwinds. So this is not for those of you that are going to do nothing with this information. This is not for those of you that maybe like you're at a point where you just don't even have a job. You don't have anything. Great. Get work first. Get a job. Now you might be in between jobs. Fine. This could work great. But if you're at the point where you're pretty much, maybe you're 12 years old, or maybe you're at a point where you don't want to be employed, if you're not the type of person that want to take control of your own life, this is not for you. This is for those that really want to take control of their own lives, of their own destiny, and believe that they can actually do that. And these are the actual tools and strategies and principles you need to know for that to work. Now, my inspiration from today is actually my dad. I actually started out not being a financial whiz at all. I was actually in college, but just so you know, I was a sociology major with a triple minor in Japanese, ballroom dancing, and psychology. Nothing in there said finance. But I'll tell you, my dad was my inspiration because he was the kind of guy that had that depression era mentality. Save everything, spend nothing, save it forever, hoard that money, and then hopefully someday you'll be able to live the life that you want. And he would work hard. He would work hard every day, cared about his family a lot, taught me good values, taught me your word is your bond, taught me about integrity and being honest. And the thing is that still, when it came to money, he really just hated life. He always said things like, "We can't afford this. What do you think money grows on trees? I'm not made of money, you know." And even things like, well, I got rid of that Corvette so I could have you kids, those kind of things were the scarcity kind of talk that I was raised in. So when I became an adult, naturally, like any kid growing up, you don't want to be like your parents. I wanted to learn something different. So when I was going to go into business consulting, I was going to do that as my profession. I said, you know what? I should have a real business. And the first business that came up was being a financial advisor. That was the first one that kind of intrigued me because I thought, worst case, I walk out of this with more business experience and even some experience about what to do with my money. And even better, maybe I can give my dad a little bit of his life back because he would say, Chris, I'm going to literally work until I'm dead. In fact, work will probably kill me. And by his 40s, he'd already had strokes. He started having heart attacks. The guy's had stents in his arteries and all kinds of health issues that he had. He worked until he was forced out of work. He had to be forced into retirement in his 70s. That's about how bad it was. I didn't want to live that life. And so I became a financial advisor hoping for the answer. Several years in, guess who asked me for advice? My dad. My dad said, all right, you're a financial advisor. When are you going to advise me on my stuff? So for the first time in my life, I saw his finances. He opened them up. He said, Chris, I'm 61 years old. I want to retire. And I looked at his 401k. He'd been stuffing money in there and getting his match just like you're supposed to do. He paid off his house and his debt, all of it early, debt free in 18 years. So proud of that. He did everything by the book. He did it correctly. And yet I had to tell him, Dad, just so you know, if you want to retire today, you better hope you die in 5 years because that's how soon it'll be before you run out of money. Hey, Chris, that's not what I want to hear. What else can I do? I said, I don't know. You did everything right. I can't throw you in this stock market thing because what if you lose money? You can't pay out, cash out your house and put it in the stock market. That's illegal for one. And two, what if again, you lose money? What if the interest is not as high in the stock market as what you pay on the mortgage? That's scary. I don't know what you could be doing. And it drove me nuts. And it wore at me for several weeks until I ran to a friend of mine who I trained to be a financial advisor, but left to go do real estate investing. And he opened my eyes. He got me to really understand what Rich Dad Poor Dad was really saying, not just to be an active real estate investor, for example, but how I could be a passive investor making cash flow every day, passive income coming in all the time, and how it's about what your expenses are versus your income and how you get that passive income higher than your expenses so that you are work optional. You're free to work if you want to, but you don't have to. You show up to work by choice, by power, not by enslavement. That's the difference. And guys, once I started to apply that, I actually quit being a financial advisor, vowed never to do it again, took a different path, started taking an alternate path where I focus on cash flow for myself instead. And later that year, I was able to become financially independent when I was 28, almost 29 years old. And a very different life for me today. And I'm just telling you, the traditional people out there, they don't get it. The Dave Ramseys of the world, they don't get it. They think you should be just locking your money away, live in scarcity, live cheap, live a slave for your entire life so that hopefully someday you might have something. And in truth, you don't. Okay. And there's other challenges. You get the stock market right when you think you're going to make a lot of money, stock market decides to crash and you can do nothing about it. So you can't control that either. And you got guys like I said, Dave Ramsey telling you invest $100 a month for 40 years. You'll have 1.176 million. I just did the math on your math, Mr. 12% a year, which the stock market's never done. And guess what? 979,000 a year. So even the people that are the financial experts can't even get it right themselves. And on top of that, people that follow their advice, like this top comment here says, Dave, I followed you since I was 18 years old. I'm 50. I've lost my entire retirement in the stock market. I've done what you said. I've lost almost all of it. Is there anything else you recommend? See, people are so lost. And then there's other comments just like it. They're like, it didn't work, but can I do something else? They're still going after the same crappy advice that hasn't worked. And I think of like opposite George Costanza from Seinfeld, right? That one episode where he decided to do the opposite of everything and he got his dream job, dream girl, and everything he wanted in life, right? That happened because he did the opposite. If you want something different, do the opposite. And here's the thing, the government, they got their $30+ trillion of debt. Where do you think they're going to try to get the money? From the same place they're telling you to put your money, which is like your 401ks, your IRAs. Is there a better option? Can you do something better? Yes, you can. And I love this Warren Buffett quote. If you can't figure out a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. You need multiple streams of passive income. The question is, will you take the red pill or blue pill? You're going to wake up and just say, well, I'm going to go with my life and nothing will change. Therefore, I'll have the same average life as everybody else, which is living in scarcity and being essentially broke later in life, not to mention currently in life. Or you're going to take the red pill and do something different. Now, isn't the stock market the best? You'd think that would be the answer. I'm here to tell you, as a guy that was a former financial advisor, no, as a former financial advisor, is not the answer at all. It's much better to do something different. Real estate, with something we talk about in the program, is something we talk about doing better. Give you an example, one of my properties, I measured it from the same time period as the stock market. Stock market, I would have made over 50%. My 32,000 would be almost 50,000 bucks. But guess what? My real estate property did 318%. And by the way, that's not all appreciation. That's actually cash flow. In fact, here's the cash flow right here. If I did the same thing in the stock market, if you have about $50,000, you're living on less than $1,500 per year. That's the cash flow that you would be recommended from a financial advisor to pull out. You can't make money off that. That's horrible. By the way, the average 401k balance has less than $100,000 in it right now. That means people are living on less than $3,000 a year if they follow financial advisor recommendation. My property, that same money that 32,000 is producing now, I just calculated today, 6648 per year. I'm making about quadruple, more than quadruple of what the stock market would have done for just the last 5 years. Imagine what that's going to be over time. It's way different. Now, talk about getting lean. One of the big things we want you to start tracking money. We teach you how to do that. We'll actually give you a bonus in the program called the Cash Flow Optimizer. It's a worksheet you can actually fill out and use to track your money. Mint is one of those great tools we have you use. You can use other stuff too, but that's a free resource you can actually use to start tracking your income and expenses, because you've got to know what's going on with your money. You have to know where you are financially. If you want to get to point Z or point Z for our neighbors up north, you want to get to point Z or Z, the only way to do that is know where point A is. And for many of you, you got to just start tracking your money and knowing where your money is and how much you have. Many people, surprisingly, most people actually don't do this. Even the savers still don't do it to this degree. We teach you how to do it simply and easily, because I'm one of those guys. I like leverage. I like time being used wisely. So I like it to work fast. Let's talk about how to get liquid, right? How to have money in places and get that money liquid and available. If you can have your money there in places that are accessible, so then you can invest and get it out there and investing, that's key. We even talk about, by the way, infinite banking, which is a cool concept where you can actually make money in two places at the same time, which supercharges your way to creating more and more cash flow. So not only do we have great ways to show people how to save money on taxes and save money on the way that they're spending their money currently, or the money in insurances and things like that, even ways to help create passive income, but also how to actually get your money stored up and used in a better place to make better returns than sitting in a crappy 0.nothing% bank account. And of course, we talk about passive investments, and there's all kinds that we talk about. We introduce to really educate you on what these really are and what's really available that financial advisors are scared to tell you about. Why? Because they don't make a commission off of these, which is why you can make more money than they do. This is why I have financial advisors. Every time I go to like some of these financial advisor study groups, there's always at least one financial advisor that comes to me and very quietly whispers, "Hey, Chris, so is there a way you could teach me how to be able to retire, how I could be financially free? Because I'm not there." By the way, these are guys making millions of dollars a year in their business, and yet they are still not financially free. That is the big thing that I learned as well. So, and we've had many clients do it. We have this client, for example, he's already got his passive income up over $6,000-$7,000 a month. Another couple, they want to just invest money, but when we got them to actually look at ways to consolidate their debts, we actually got them to free up $3,800 a month in loan payments, then also get tax savings. Actually, that number I should update that. That's over $20,000 a year right now. What we found out when it was updated. Not only did we sell a rental to improve their cash flow to buy $2,000 a month because they were losing money on it, but now they're actually moving money out of stocks to create even more, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in passive income. Another woman, she actually just got out of the rat race. She's a little bit higher than this now, but she's now up over $80,000 a year with her investments. And she had about $650,000 she could use. So she was able to get out of the rat race herself. This guy, I had him on my podcast, Dan, did a great job there. He went from taking his $1 million retirement plan from a financial advisor making $30,000 a year to making $130,000 a year instead. Louis actually is a set dresser in Hollywood. During 2020, during COVID, they got shut down worse than almost anybody. But luckily, he had cash flow to keep him going. And even though he hasn't quite hit his 100% financial freedom goal, still, for him, he's been able to at least have that income that he's really close. And that's even with some of these setbacks where Hollywood keeps going on strikes or shutting down. He's still being able to keep coming back really stronger every time. And Eric's another guy as well. He's 6% there. He's actually getting closer than that even at this point. So that's what we really teach with the Wealth Accelerator Academy, is really how to be able to do that, how to get your money freed up, how to get your money working harder for you so you don't have to work so hard for it. And really, we just get down that granular strategic level, course by course, video by video. Plus, like I said, there's monthly calls with us, and there's a community aspect too. You can actually ask questions and get interaction with your coaches. So it's not one-on-one group. It is not one-on-one coaching, but it is a good group coaching aspect that kind of creates a really automated way of doing it. It's really like this online interactive experience that you can move it at your own pace. And like I said, the cash flow optimizer comes as a bonus so you can track your money. Just kind of give you an update for today with my dad. Like, he's still alive. Amazing. It's a miracle, really a modern medical miracle. He's still alive. And I'll tell you, like, he's even said, he's like, Chris, I don't understand your life. Like, I'm trying to stretch out my money, but you're living that life now while your kids are still around, while they still want to be around you. They don't have their own lives quite yet. And I said, yeah, that's true. I take it for granted. It's great. It's not something to brag about, of course, because it's not about me. It's about the ripple effect, right? I remember when I named the company Money Ripples, is because I had a couple that came to me. They're from the Dakotas, right? And he was working 6 days a week in his practice, working his tail off, but he never had time for his family. And I remember that after our first few meetings, we were able to get him down to the point where he was able to free up $6,000 a month. And you know what he did with that $6,000 that first month? He bought a $6,000 four-wheeler. Now, maybe Dave Ramsey would shame on him and hate him for doing that, but I didn't. Why? Because his wife says, you know what that four-wheeler did for us? First, it gave him permission to take off more days of work. So now we have weekends with my husband. My kids have their father back. I have my husband back. He's out there four-wheeler with them every weekend, having fun and enjoying them. She's like, I could not buy that enough. She's like, I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. Guys, that is the ripple effect I'm here to create. That's why we're so excited about this Wealth Accelerator Academy. So check it out. You got the link right there that you've been sent to. And of course, we're giving you a nice little deal on it too, so that we want to make sure you make your money back within a matter of months, something that you actually get a good rate of return on versus all these other crappy programs that really don't give you anything. This has real tangible results when you take tangible action. When those two work together, guys, that's where the ripple effect is created. So be sure to click on that link, go and join today, because that's something that we can just give you so much support, give you so much help, and really help give you that launch pad necessary to get you towards your financial freedom goals.